Hi everyone, my name is Pyro and welcome back to my orbiter. In this video, I'll break down my newly finished navigation area, I'll show you how to do some slightly more advanced decorating techniques, and I'll go back to rooms from the previous video to talk about some more details and answer some of your questions from the comments. So let's get into it. First off, why did I make this room asymmetrical? Well, there's a red zone under the market table that makes it impossible to put flooring under it. This red zone was added in the Veilbreaker update, so if you see someone else with an item there, it's because they placed it before that update, and if they ever remove it, they'll never be able to place it back there. So, you have the choice of either leaving it open and just keep the bare floor of the orbiter under the market table, or block it off like I've done here. Originally, I also had the codex area blocked off to keep it symmetrical, but I felt that the room was just too small that way, and I ended up with this more open, asymmetrical layout. Just because this area is blocked off, that doesn't mean we can't give the illusion that there's another room behind that space. My favourite way to do this is by making a fake door. These are really simple to build. All you need is a rectangle shaped item, any of the Zaraman crates or boxes work well for this, and sink it into the wall. Then you'll need something to stand in as the handle. Here I've used the Deviri mug, but there's a ton of other items that work well for this, so choose something that fits the theme of your build. As an optional extra, you can also make some door hinges with any small item. Here I've used the Zaraman cups. Now for the design of the navigation area, let's start by making this radial design on the floor. Radials are a technique for creating circular designs that have been used in dojo decorating for a long time, but I first saw it used in an orbiter by the very talented VxChillor, which inspired me to make this design. I'll take you through it step by step. First, we have to choose an item to use. We want something long and with a bit of width. But pay attention to where the item's anchor point is. Chillor went for these wide green pillars which rotate around the centre, so he needed 24 copies to make the circle, whereas I've chosen the Zaraman wall locker which rotates from the edge, meaning that I needed twice as many copies, 48, to make the full circle. Either way, radial designs do take up a fair chunk of your room capacity, so think carefully about whether you need one and what sacrifices you'll have to make in other aspects of the room to make it work. In my case, blocking off the market area saved enough capacity that I could have the design while still being able to detail the other areas. So to actually build the radial, start by using grid snapping to place the item down with its anchor point in the centre of the circle. Then, duplicate the item and place it in the exact same spot with grid snapping still on, and repeat this until you have 24 placed down for centre rotating items or 48 for edge rotating items. Next, select one of the items with constrained movement and, using angle snapping, rotate it 15 degrees. Then select another one and also rotate it by 15 degrees, so it's in the same spot as the first one. Then repeat this in 15 degree intervals, so that there are two of the item covering each 15 degree interval. Finally, go into constrained movement on each item and roll it 15 degrees one way with angle snapping still on, and roll the other one 15 degrees the other way, and repeat round the circle. And there you go, your radial is complete. To take it a step further, I then raised the golden plinth under the radial slightly, so that some gold shows through the gaps in the design. Also, radials like having an item in the centre, and I've gone for this Entrati globe light. Next, I'll break down the rest of this room. I bordered the radial with these curved Zaraman benches, and then to hide the terminals on the outside, I've used the wide green artisan pots to raise the border. Always use angle snapping when doing stuff like this, so you can keep it even on both sides. I then used the Deviri handspar to make these circular ornaments, again using angle snapping to keep it all even, and I've taken the Zaraman generator lights and sunk it in so that only the light part is showing. I've also topped them with some Zaraman plants. For the codex area, I've made another computer desk, because I just really like making computer desks. I started with this large Zaraman table, then I added this wall locker, tilted slightly so that it fits in with the bit of the codex table that's poking out. Then I used a Deviri repast table to make this glass partition, and a white artisan pot turned upside down for the end cap. and I topped it with Ballas's staff decoration. As a side note, I just think it's really funny that Ballas once ruled the Origin system with this staff in his hand, and now it's being used as a fancy railing in my house. Yeah, how do you like that, you gaslighting son of a... Anyway, for the monitor I've just used this curved display. I've used the same keyboard design as the other PC desk, with the Scrubberfish trophy and the Deviri mug for the keyboard and spacebar, and some extra techie bits to tie it together. Now let's talk about another cool technique which lets you make these animated screens. For this you'll need one Zaraman box lid and 4 glyph displays. Put down the glyph displays and rotate each of them 90 degrees. Then, choose the same glyph for all of them, preferably one that is centered in the frame like this one. Then, put each glyph into the box lid and push it in so that it is clipping into the back surface of the lid, making sure to keep everything centered. If you get the positioning just right, the overlapping wave patterns of the glyphs phasing in and out of the lid surface will create these cool screensaver effects. In the last tutorial video, I briefly showed some shots of my drifter cam, but I didn't go into any detail, so let's do that now. Firstly, let's talk about Deviri repast tables. As you can see, I like this item quite a bit. I've arranged them in a 4x4 cube, then put another 4 diagonally to make the signature slanted roof that greenhouses have. I've then used the large Zaraman lid for the doors. These are good because they already have built-in hinges, and this Zaraman kitchen item is another good door handle option. For the interiors, for once I've actually used the wide green pot for its intended purpose, and I've filled them with the only real plant option we have. Seriously, I would kill for even a few of the dojo plant options to be available in Orbiters. Where we do have a lot more variety to play with is with infested plants, from Grandmother on Deimos and some of the resource decorations from the market, so I decided to make this greenhouse infested. I've been very careful with my item placement here in a few different ways. If you want to make your placements look natural, turn off angle snapping and grid snapping, and place it freeform. If you're going to have multiple of the same plant next to each other, make sure each one is at a different rotation and size, so it looks like it actually grew there naturally. Also, I've been deliberate with my placement here to cover up any of the ugly areas where the green pots clip into each other. That's why I made this arrangement of pots in the corners and why these toolboxes are here. Finally, to show how the infestation spreads and grows, I've extended it up the wall and ceiling, again using different sizes and rotations to keep everything looking organic. And as a nice interactive detail, I've put this Vitrium eyeball decoration from the market on the ceiling and surrounded it so it looks like it's part of the infested growth. It even follows you around as you move. To close off, let's answer some of your questions from the last video. I had loads of people ask how much plat this will cost. In total so far, I think I've put around 700 to 800 plat into this, or about 1000 if you include the 30-day resource booster I bought to farm all the Deviri resources faster. But I want to make it 100% clear that you do not need to spend a single plat to achieve something like this in your orbiter. Most of the plat items here aren't structural to the build, it's just ornamentation and extra details, such as these water plants or the Styanax Deluxe shield. Also, DE often gives out some paid decorations for free in the form of Twitch drops, so check on their Twitter to see if there are any scheduled to be coming up. Noxon asked, there's a decoration limit for rooms? Yes, the decoration capacity limit is the final boss of both Orbiter and Dojo decorating. Usually what happens is, as you get towards finishing your room, you'll run out of capacity, and have to make some tough decisions about what to delete. For example, in the operator room, I originally had bases on all of these outer pillars, but later I decided to delete them to make enough room for glass between the pillars and some more plants. Always pay attention to the capacity cost of an item. The vast majority of orbiter decorations only cost 5, but some can cost up to 100. Only use these if you are certain you don't need the cap for other things. Wicked Jackal and Frau Moller both asked why my rooms look larger than they actually are. The key here is perspective. My builds are actually smaller than the base orbiter, but they look larger from certain angles. The operator room looks deeper because of the converging lines on the ceiling and on the floor from these rugs, while my arsenal area looks wider because of the slanted pillars and the open space down the middle. Also, setting your FOV setting to max helps sell this effect. Next up we have Death Knight, who asks, "How did you make your stuff so big? I play on PlayStation. I can't make my stuff that big. With the Viri table at the intro, I try to make it as big as yours, but it can't get any bigger." Well, to answer your question, Warframe's decorating system is identical across all platforms, so everything I've done here on PC you can do on console or even on mobile. There was a glitch a few years ago where items were scaling larger than intended, but that got fixed ages ago. These repast tables are just at the maximum size. If that doesn't help, I don't know man, go buy some Viagra I guess. Finally, Kill It With Fire says, "It's cool, but I don't see the point. It doesn't benefit you in the game, really." I mean, sure, decorating isn't going to make your Incarnon Torrid deal more damage, but that's not the point. The Orbiter is a space that all players spend a lot of time in, adjusting their builds, crafting new stuff, or just mindlessly bullet jumping around. I think it's really worth it to have a decorated Orbiter, especially for those of us who have been playing this game for a long time and need new stuff to do. And like my mum always said, if you're going to do something, it's worth doing properly. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. Your support on this channel over the last few weeks has been truly heartwarming. I never expected it to get this much traction. I've got loads more content coming for you soon. I've got to decorate my personal quarters and the railjack area. I've also got the entire back rooms to do now as well. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of that. And I'll catch you all next time. Bye.